We completed Shir HaShirim, which is read on Pesach, and so today we begin the book that we read on the next holiday, the book of Ruth. Vayihi bimei shvot hashoftim, vayihi ra'av ba'aretz, vayelech ish beit lechem Yehuda lagur b'stei Moav, hu v'ishto shnei banav. So we're told a time period when this happens. This happens all the way back when, the seventh book of the Tanakh, after the 5 books of Moshe, and after the book of Yoshua, during the time of Shoftim, a period of instability, a period when there was no central leadership, a period where we're told of different tribal leaders, and a period that ended very, or I don't know if it ended very poorly, the end of Shoftim. I don't know if that's the end of the book. It ends very poorly with the need for leadership, but it's a book that we have to understand through the prism and the context of the time that it was written, which is the time of the Shoftim, Devorah and Shimshon and Yiftach and Gilad and Ehud ben Gera, etc., for better and for worse. And there is a famine, which is not a big surprise because there are famines in Israel all the time. Many of our great stories result from famines, and so not just great stories. Avram going down to Egypt, Yitzchak wanting to go down, the brothers, Yosef, etc. And somebody from the tribe of Yehuda from the place called Beit Lechem. We know Beit Lechem, Bethlehem, and of course the irony here in this pasuk is this is a place that's called Beit Lechem, the house of bread. It's a place where there should be bread. It should be a place where there shouldn't be a famine. But he goes to live in the fields of Moab, he and his wife and his 2 sons. Moab we know as well. Moab is one of the 2 sons and / grandson of Lot, the nephew of Avraham, who after the destruction of Sodom is saved due to his being the nephew of Avraham, and he and his daughters believe they're the only people alive, and his daughters get him drunk and sleep with him, and he has 2 children. One is named Ammon, one is named Moab, and so it's they go to this family to the stay Moab, because there, I suppose, it seems like there is more food. V'shem ha'ish Elimelech, v'shem ishto Naomi. V'shem shnei v'nav, Machlon v'chilyon, Efratim mi-Beit Lechem, Yehuda, v'yavo stei Moab, v'yusham. And so the man's name was Elimelech. His wife was named Naomi. It's like the name of the yeshiva, Noam Elimelech, right? Yeshivas Elimelech. And he had 2 sons. His sons were named Machlon, and his sons were Chilyon, and they were from Beit Lechem, and they came to the country of Moab, and they lived there. They settled there for a little bit of time. It's not exactly clear what this word Ephratim mean, right? Sounds like they're from the tribe of Ephraim, but that's not what it means. It may mean something that's important. It may mean there's a explanation that Ephros was a different name, an ancient name for Beit Lechem, and so different understanding as to why they're called that when it sounds like it's related to the tribe of Ephraim, and they are not the tribes of Ephraim. Okay, let's continue. So now they're in the stay Moab, and what happens? Tragedy. Vayomat Elimelech ish Naomi v'tisherhu ushnei vanei. Elimelech dies, and his wife becomes a widow with her 2 sons. Vayisu lem nashim Moaviot, shema achat Orpah v'shema shivit Ruth, v'yeshvu sham ke'eser shanim. They live for 10 years in Moab, in the plains of Moab, and each of their sons, following the death of their father, take a wife. One of them has a wife named Orpah, and the other one has a wife named Ruth. We don't know which one was married to which. Vayimutu gam shnehem, Machlon v'chilyon, and the 2 sons die as well. Vaytishaer ha'isha mishnei yeladeha umei isha, and the woman is left alone with these 2 former daughter-in-laws. Everybody else, unfortunately, in her family, sadly, tragically, has passed away. Very difficult. V'takam hi v'chalotea v'tashav mishtei Moav, ki shama b'stei Moav, ki pakad Adonai tamo latet lahem lachem. And so she gets up to leave the fields of Moab along with her 2 daughters-in-law, or you could say 2 former daughters-in-law. And why? Because she has heard that God has remembered his people to give him bread. The word pakat, or Parshat Pekudei this Shabbat. We also have the idea of Hashem pakad et Sarah kasher amar, when Goen Avram is first, along with Sarah. Avram is the second child. Sarah is her first child. God remembers Avraham. So you see that word, and she is somebody who's despair. I imagine she's in a terrible state. Imagine even a lot worse than Sarai, who was unable to have a child for so long. She had two children, they both died. And so the same word here, ki pakad Hashem et amo. It's not that God, who is God, is remembering his nation. So she should be there to get the bread and to get whatever God is doing now for the Jewish people, which he hasn't done during the time of the field. And so she is leaving Moab, and she's on her way with her two daughters-in-law, we're told again, and she's going on the path to go back to specifically her tribe, the tribe of Yehuda, which again comes back to the book of Shoftim is a tribal book. We have Shoftim from different tribes. Sometimes the different tribes come together and will fight together, but generally that's part of the reason why in the book of Shmuel they want a king, because they don't have a central authority. They're not united. They can't stave off armies as well if they have 12 different militias with 300 people in it or whatever it might be, as opposed to an army with 50,000 people in it. I know those numbers didn't make sense, but continuing verse 8, Vatomer Naomi l'shnei chaloteha lechna shovna isha levet imah ya'asa Adonai machem chesed kasher asitem im hametim v'imadi. And so Naomi says, you guys have done great, but now it's time for you to turn back, turn around, go back, go home. You have dealt with me very, very kindly, both with the dead and with me, comforting me, staying with me, making sure I'm not alone. And in verse 9, Pasuk Ted, Yitain Adonai lechem mitzayim menucha isha veit isha vatishak lehem vatisena kolan vativ kena. And she says, God should grant each of you security in your house of a husband, right? You shouldn't be widows. You should have a husband who will bring you security, will make sure you have a food to eat and a house to live in. And she kisses them and she cries out, and everybody is crying, and it seems like a beautiful farewell. Vatom mar nahla ki itach nashuv la'amech. And said to her, no. What did they say to her, the daughters-in-law? They say, no, we're going to go back to you. We're going to go with you to your people. This is we've made a deal in a sense with your family. And she says to them, what are you saying? Go back home. I don't have any children in my womb. You're right. I know there's something we do. It's in this book. It's proto-Yibum sort of thing. Have it with Yehuda, back with his daughter-in-law Tamar, right? So you might think that you're going to have more people there are going to be other family members who can marry you, and then you'll have that security. But I don't have any sons in my body. Who's going to be your husband? My husband died 3 years ago. It was not given a number. I don't have any kids. And she continues in verse 12, Shovna vnotai, my daughters, return. And you see that there is a real love here, the way she refers to them. Lechna ki zakanti miot leish. And anyway, I'm too old to be with a man and have children. Ki amarti yesh li tikva gam hayiti alayla leish gam yaladati b'anim. And even if there was any hope for me, and even if tonight I would be intimate with a man, and I would have not just one, but I would have twins. Halahein tishaberna ad asher delu halahein te'agena levilti ayot leish al benotai ki marli mon mikem ki yatsa bi yad Adonai. Would you wait for them to grow up? Right? How could you wait? Right? You need to go and get married. Don't be stuck to me. And if you know the word aguna, which is a major problem in Jewish life, when a man refuses to give a get to his wife, she's called an aguna. She's bound. She's chained to him. And she says to them, don't be chained to me. Don't be chained to my sons. Don't be chained to my family. Go. What are you going to wait 15 years until you get married? No, you can't do that. And she said, further, you don't want to stay with me. Ki marli ma'od, something she'll say again later in the book. Her name is Naomi, which means pleasant. But what does she say? My life is very mar. My life is very bitter. God has come out against me. So don't stay with me. There's no hope for you here. Kolan vativkena od. And again, they broke into weeping and they're crying. Vatishak orpa lechomata virut davka ba. And Orpah kissed her mother-in-law farewell, but Ruth clung to her. Davak, like devek means Hebrew, means glue. She stuck to her. She wouldn't leave her. Vatomer hine shava ivemteich alama v'elaloheha shuvi acharei ivemteich. And so Naomi says to Ruth, your sister-in-law, she's going back home. Go back with her. Go back to your people. Go back to your gods. Go follow your sister-in-law. And sometimes Orpah gets a very bad rap. The name Orpah seems to be related to the word oref, which means the back of the neck is the oref. Like the Jewish people are called in the Torah an amkshe oref, a stiff-necked, an oref, a stiff-necked people. Stiff is the kasher. The oref is the back of the neck. And Orpah is called here Orpah, the back of the neck, because the last thing we see is her walking her away. We see the back of her neck, which makes her not look good. But I would just like to say, it's not that Orpah is bad, it's that Ruth is extraordinary. That's what the change is. And here is one of the key verses in this book, and what the response, of course, of Ruth, Vatomer Ruth in Pasuk Tet Zayin, verse 16, Al tivki vi la'azveich lashuv me'acharayich. Don't urge me, don't push me away, don't turn your back from me. Kiel asher telchi elech, va'asher talini alin, amech ami ve'elohayich Elohai. Because where you go, I will go. Where you sleep, I will sleep. Your people will be my people. Your God will be my God. And while we don't have a formal, as far as we know, conversion process back then, this is considered the words of a quote-unquote conversion for Ruth from being a Moavite to being a member of Bnei Yisrael. Her acceptance, her following of Avram with the Lech Lecha, Asher Telchi Elech. She wants the gods of Israel. She even wants the people of Israel. She's going to take everything. She's going to stay with Ruth. And she continues, and it's not only in life. Ba'asher tamuti amut v'sham ekaver. Ko yaseh Adonai li v'cho yosif ki amavet yafrid beini uveinech. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. This and more will God do to me, if anything but death parts me from you, right? I'm going to take it upon myself. You are my responsibility. When I married your son, I took you as my responsibility as well, and I will remain with you. Vatera. And when Naomi saw that she was omet, she had strength and determination and force to stay with Naomi. Vatechtal lidaber eleha. So she stopped. She stopped trying to push her away. Vatelachna shtehem, and the two of them walked together. Ad bo'ana Beit Lechem, until they came to Bethlehem. Vayikivoana Beit Lechem vatehom kol ha'ir alein vatomarna hazot Naomi. And when they arrived at Bethlehem, everybody looked and said, "Is that Naomi? She left a decade plus ago, and now she's back, and she was married, and she had two sons, and she's coming here, and she's got some young lady with her." Vatomer alehen is something I mentioned earlier. Al tikrena li Naomi, kirena li Mara, kihemar Shaddai li ma'od. And she says to them, don't call me Naomi, don't call me pleasant, call me Mara, call me bitter. God, Shaddai, has made my lot very, very bitter. Ani mele'a halachti v'reikam heshivani Adonai. Lama tikrena li Naomi v'Adonai anavi v'Shaddai heirali. I went away full, and I came back empty. God has brought me back empty. How can you call me Naomi when God has dealt harshly with me, when Shaddai has brought misfortune upon me? And, if you go to a certain type of therapist, they would say, stop blaming God and figure it out. It's based upon your own decisions. But here she says it's because of God. And so Naomi, along with Ruth the Moabite, her daughter-in-law, have returned from the fields of Moab, and they came to Bethlehem at the beginning of the time of the barley harvest. And something that we'll see later on in the book, we have main characters are introduced to us, two of the three main characters. We have Naomi and we have Ruth. Ruth is a foreigner, and we'll see here she is now the Moabite. Right? We know from the beginning that she's a Moabite, but it doesn't stand out. She does not stand out as a Moabite when she is in Moab. Maybe her father-in-law or mother-in-law or her husband or brother-in-law stand out because they are Israelites and Moabites. But now she is the foreigner, and how will people respond to her is one of the great questions of this book, which my guess is you're familiar with, but we'll try to add a little bit more to it as we look through the next few chapters, beginning with the barley harvest and what Ruth and Naomi attempt to do to improve their lives.